is not necessarily special, but he is going to be legendary. And I also froze right there in my camera. Sorry about that intro, Caleb. But welcome to the show from the beautiful state of Washington, and a person that has rhetoric. I'm surprised Kanye West doesn't call this guy for lyrics, Mr. Caleb Moore.
Hey, hey, man, it's good to be on. I've followed you for a while, and I enjoyed what I've heard. So, like, yeah, I wanted to jump on, and when you ironed me tonight and said, "Hey, you want to jump on?" I was like, "Yeah, why not? Like, let's do it." We've been chatting back and forth for a while. I figured I should jump on. I had some time, so yeah, it was good. Good to get on.
It takes a lot of courage to me to have the conversations of one-on-one like you and I do. And before we were going live, you and I mentioned, or I think I mentioned to you, I cannot believe you're not in politics. And I cut you off, and I cut you off for a reason. Let's not bring up the first part of that sentence you were going to say. Let's bring up the second part of the sentence of you'd rather prefer.
Okay. Yeah, I'd prefer to have individualized conversations where you can get to know somebody, you can get to understand where they're coming from. In today's age, you have this TikTok, right? 60 seconds, and then you're swiping up to the next video. And that's the opinions that we form of people based on those 60-second videos. Where if you actually sit down with people, ask them questions, understand where they're coming from, it's a whole lot easier to find common ground. And I think when you find that common ground, that's where you can start to build a movement from, right? So like we might not agree on everything, but we do agree on some things. And on those things that we agree on, those are the things that we can work on together. And so as you start to surround yourself with people that you agree with in certain areas and disagree with in other areas, you're forced to expand your horizons. You're forced out of groupthink. Whereas if you go into politics, you have to be successful, sign on to typically one of two platforms. We know who they are. And then you
the
are
GOP and the DNC, and they're both giving DICK in our ASS.
yes, yes. No, all spelled out very eloquently there. No,
Hey, third grade bubble
I mean, really, if it's 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 sad that when you like somebody asks you, so are you a Republican or are you a Democrat?
Oh, man. I hate it.
Right? And you have this moment where you're like, well, which box do I want to sit in? And then once you put yourself in that box, they tape it up and ship you off to a certain part in their mind. And it takes a lot to get out of that.
Before you can even get to the
It just does.
the initials. Okay, so there's an initial interaction, right, to cause that conversation.
Right.
That initial reaction and the fruit that would have come from the labor of discussing that interaction is thrown away for the fact that you want to put me in a box and I want to put you in a box. And so we find out
some of the best conversations.
Boxes, and before you know it, you forgot about the first thing you
Yeah.
talked about, and then all of a sudden you hate each other, and you thought that you had something you wanted to talk about.
Right. Well, I mean, some of the best conversations I've had politically were with people that thought, for whatever reason, that I was a Democrat. And then as I'm just asking questions, they're like, oh, yeah, I kind of see that. And then as you just start expounding things, as you start expounding things, they start realizing that, oh, well, why do I think that? Like, because like I said in one of the things that I wrote, I said, most people know what they believe, right? I mean, because they get in 60-second clips, they can articulate it. But then when you start asking them why they believe that, well, I've always kind of believed that. And as soon as you assume something to be true, this is something that a person far wiser than me said. As soon as you assume something to be true, you lose the ability to defend it.
Yeah, let me think about that.
As soon,
let me say. Okay, so as soon as I assume something to be true, I lose the ability to defend it. As soon as I lose, as soon as I assume something to be true, I lose the ability. So are you saying that the person saying this to you is
Mhm.
is suggesting continually fight for what you believe is the truth? That way, you can better
continually
defend it?
question your own beliefs so that when other people question them, you've already thought about it.
Well, that's not really going to go well with my whole I'm right thing. I don't know what kind of podcast you thought this was, but
No. See, see, it's not questioning whether you're right or not, but it's thinking outside the box, because as human beings, we are creatures of habit. So, for example, most of us agree that the world is round.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm on TikTok and somebody invited me to TikTok live, and I thought that they were going to ask questions about our conversation.
Oh.
Yeah, I think she just wanted to talk about her makeup, so that's my bad.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting too. I mean, we can go there.
Well, she hung up before I could say like what color is that.
Oh, that's unfortunate. No, but we all agree the world is round, right? Except for some of us. Um, uh, but why is the world round?
I can. You want me to answer that or?
I mean, sure, yeah.
Okay, because my mama said
How do you know that
the
to be
world
true?
is round.
Right, but unless you know the scientific aspects of the world and all of those things, and you've
Gravitational
studied them,
force in quantum physics.
yeah, you assume the world is round, and I'm not saying that's a bad assumption. It's not. It's the correct assumption,
It's
but you
something that we
lose
know
the
to be
ability to
true.
defend it. Right, we know it to be true,
Right.
but you lose the ability to defend it against somebody who, let's say, a flat earther, because you didn't study it, you didn't question your own assumptions. I'm not saying question them in a manner of they're untrue, but challenge them with the same things other people will bring to the table so that you know how to address those things. When somebody challenge, go ahead.
Hold on. So I'm on a TikTok live stream right now, and with Caleb
Yeah.
Moore, and we're live streaming. Do you have a question for us? Okay.
I can't see. Move it a little bit more.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and stop with the people asking questions on TikTok. I feel like we're in the 1990s, and they had they did call into the show, the local
The call-in radio shows.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting pranked right now, and I'm tired of it. So, bye bye.
What was the name of the caller?
Dickhead. I don't know how to spell this. Yeah. So you're right. So I understand what you're saying. So in order to really fundamentally, right, as a young person, to fundamentally understand how to grasp controversy, find something that you know to believe to be true, then figure out how to fight for it and against it, so that when it comes to things that maybe
Right.
What would you call that? Fluid. You're continually fighting for that idea. Is that about right?
Yeah. And so when you come to some more, what I'll say are conversations that have a little bit more weight behind them, right? Conversations around abortion, conversations around um, gender, right? Conversations around um, free speech, conversations around all of these things. For example, you guys were talking about, your previous guest was talking about the Twitter and whether Twitter should be able to censor somebody like that, or whether or not the government should step in. You, nobody goes into that after reading all of their stuff without an opinion, right? But a lot of people just assume that any rational person will come to the same opinion as they did. That's a very bad assumption. Just because there there are so many of your life experiences that you bring to bear on how you interpret a situation. Your culture, your upbringing, your religious spheres, that when you as a rational person come to a decision, I'm not saying it's the wrong decision. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to, like, people need to be aware that other people can come to other decisions that to them seem just as rational.
And that's honestly difficult for me, Caleb. Like that's something I struggle with,
Yeah.
honestly. Um, I guess I wish I lived in a world where everyone would have the same idea of what having an open
So,
mind means. Because I don't
so,
know how
so
many times
tell
I've
me
heard
this: when
open mind.
somebody, well, open minds were meant to shut on something. Um, but when somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I think this," and let's say we both agree that their idea is stupid, right? Do you think that it's because, do you think that it's because they are being, in their own mind, irrational? Do you think they're literally saying, you know what, I'm going to choose to be irrational today, so yeet my mind over this way?
No, so I'm still trying to figure this out personally.
Right.
Um,
So I would
so no,
say
so
they
I would
think they're
say
being
no.
perfectly
Yeah,
rational.
they think they're
They
being
think they're
perfectly
being
rational,
rational.
right?
You're in my job as, let's assume we're right, like, right? Because we thought about it, and we still came to the same conclusion that we're right. Our job is to convey the message or the meaning in a way that they can understand it, or at least so that we can find an understanding. It might be an understanding that we just disagree, right? They're still wrong, but we disagree.
Mhm.
But just assuming that they're illogical in their own mind and that they're intentionally doing it, they could be, but you have to ask questions to get there first. And
So,
that's one thing that I think.
damn. Sorry, I'm about
Go, yeah, no, go.
keep going, keep going.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think in today's society we just don't do. We don't have the time to do it. Um, I mean, shoot, I'm, and I use air quotes here, behind in like 6 or 7 shows across 4 streaming platforms. Um,
I'm
I have a
sorry.
couple
What
videos on
what kind of
Amazon.
lifestyle do you have? 'Cause that sounds amazing.
No. Remember, I'm behind in the shows, so I'm not watching them. um,
See, that's me being rational. Right? Yeah.
right. Um, so, I mean, there's, but I mean, uh, between, if you have a job, if you're in a relationship, if you have kids, and then you've got just whatever life throws wrenches in your path, and then you have your responsibility as a citizen of America to make educated decisions, and be a good citizen, right? So voting, understanding policy, all of these things. And there's no possible way, given the inundation of consumerism that we have in this country, that people can do that correctly. There's just not.
I disagree. There's
I
totally a
mean,
way, but we're gonna have to put up the American Idol, and so then when I enter that, yeah, there is no way.
Right. I'm saying, so when I say there's no way it's going to happen, I'm saying that they're not going to sacrifice that.
I know.
That.
Yeah.
um, and I think that's sad because it makes people very easily manipulatable. If that's even a word. Manipulatable, or is it manipulatable?
Manipulated.
It makes people ripe for being manipulated. I'll put it that way.
See, add another one of your cool words, and you got it. Right for being manipulated. And here comes
Yeah, I mean,
Joe Biden, the rancher. Kidding, kidding, kidding.
well, no, I mean, and it doesn't even take somebody with the Joe Biden's a figurehead.
Oh my
Like,
gosh! No,
if
you know I was just saying that. Yeah, yeah. Let's skip over my comment. Can we just skip over my comment? Let's go back to this.
sorry, I have one of those. Yeah, go.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, you're good.
So irrational on purpose, or irrational on purpose, or rational yet wrong.
Hmm.
That's where I'm trying to figure out.
Because you have fallacies. You have fallacies. There are fallacies of thought.
For me, I see a lot of people, maybe because of the brand new introduction to humanity, the idea of an algorithm that shows you stuff you want to see, right? Shows you stuff you want to interact with.
So
hold on, bear with me, Caleb.
Okay, go ahead.
So my struggle in this specific topic, he's got a lot of struggles. Struggle studies real. Is finding who is being sincere in their thinking based on their beliefs, and who is sincerely spreading disbeliefs amongst other people.
So,
and you won't know until you ask questions, which is what you were getting at.
Right, right.
Asking the questions.
And I think there's well-meaning people that see something and run with it, right? And they're completely wrong.
And I've done it. I've been completely wrong about a lot of things in my life. Yes.
Yeah, one of the things I pride myself on is like researching stuff, and like even sometimes I'm like, dag nabbit, like they got me. Like they got me. Like I thought I did enough research. And I was like, because then like the worst one is like where I'll text it to my wife, and then I'll get home from work. I'm like, so that thing I texted you, yeah, disregard that. That's not true. It's like that didn't happen.
Been there.
But no, I mean it's I mean you can find. Go ahead.
Yeah, can I admit something like huge that I actually got, I think 1,000 to 2,000 followers on TikTok for like this video I made about Lynn Wood that Lynn Wood put out. Lynn Wood put out a tweet I think it was January 6th, January 5th, when all the when everyone was basically in their panic rooms in America. He put out several tweets, I think 10 to 15 of them, basically saying that he has evidence of some really horrific stuff. Naming some very prominent names, including Mike Pence, that are involved in this. And in my video, I said, I don't know if this is true or not, but Lynn Wood said this.
Right. I think that's a responsible way to report something.
Right. And I just want to be on the record now after watching his latest guest appearance in Crazy Town Theatrics, is apologizing to people for even bringing that up, because I thought I didn't. Hold on, it's okay to apologize because I did my due diligence on my research of him. Seemed to be at the time it was something that was okay to say. I'm not sure if it's true or not. This is what he said. But now seeing his current, I don't know what kind of Kool-Aid he's on, but I want some of it.
Right.
Well,
do you though? Do you?
You know what? Now that you say that, no, I don't.
No, I mean, so, there's I think.
But what I'm trying to say is,
I think honestly,
it's
there's
okay
nothing to apologize
eventually.
for.
Well, I do. I think there's things to apologize for. Like, hey, sorry.
Okay.
I know that I was tied to that, but I'm not sorry for the way I put it, the way that I, inform people on it. And I will.
Here's my thing.
Or like you have to be adaptive to learning and be like, okay, that was incorrect.
People,
no, don't follow that anymore.
America is spoon fed, and they need to get off the couch and start eating actual meals and processing and having to chew through and digest words. And what I mean by that is people need to learn to discernment is a lost art in America. Being able to look at something and be like, yeah, that's BS.
And not Bobby
is it's right. Sorry. I totally did not realize that was your initials. No, my bad. No, no, but people need to be able to look at stuff, and nowadays they can't. And so, because I don't think you need to apologize for saying X person said Y thing.
Okay.
I don't know if he's right or not, but here's the reporting of it. That's true journalism, not telling you what to think about it, but telling you what's going on in the day-to-day thing. We've been so spoon-fed by mainstream media on both sides. This is not a partisan issue for me. On both sides, we've been so spoon-fed what we should be thinking that we've lost the ability to discern. I honestly think if you took, let's say 50 people that watch 25 Republicans that watch Fox News and 25 Democrats that watch CNN or MSNBC or whatever, and you gave them an unbiased news story, sat them in a room, they might not know what to think about it because they weren't told.
First off, let me know when this fantasy happens. I got a lot of other fantasies I want to do.
No, but see, but like I don't think people, the everyday person, at least the people that I see on these interviews, right? That you'll see like man on the street, whatever, right? Where they go talk to this average person, or God forbid they go to a college campus because like those people have been brainwashed.
I'm done with all this show. Well, I'm honestly done with all these videos. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
I can cherry pick like a mammer jammer, and
unless
something's unless something's live streaming, and I think this is where this is all going for our cause of the ever growing pursuit of knowledge and happiness, because it's never done. I hope it's not. I hope it's never done.
Have you seen the movie Pursuit of Happiness?
Probably 15 times.
Okay. It's one of my favorite films. I'm a huge Will Smith fan, but
I was a huge
one of my favorite films.
Alien Independence Day, and he killed an alien. I wasn't really big on that. But
I mean, it's not sending the best message to our extraterrestrial friends.
Welcome to Earth. He said Earth with an F. So I sound like really weird as like a teenage white kid, like welcome to Earth.
No, it's but no, I mean there's
that movie is awesome.
People when people quote the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, they often drop out very salient words, specifically in this phrase, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Most people think you're guaranteed life, liberty, and happiness. You're not. You're guaranteed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which means if you can catch it, it's yours, which is like the whole point of his movie. And it's not easy. It takes hustle. It takes grind.
Always in the chase for it.
See, so I would argue, and this is where my religion is going to come out, that you can have happiness, right? I think that in the earthly world, or in the what I will call your day-to-day grind of non-religious things, you're not going to find happiness. You'll find success, but that will never fulfill you. I think different wise scholars of different religions have said it many times over the years, like the worldly things cannot fulfill you ultimately. They can do a really good job for a really long time, but ultimately you're going to have a hole that is only
my subscription for happiness from Apple is every single month, and it costs
tell me how that works out. And when there's a post-apocalyptic world, the aliens have landed and Apple is no more.
Okay, well, apparently that may be a thing right now. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
No, you're completely right. You're completely right. And
right. I mean, so, but I think the pursuit of success is something that I think people don't think. Everybody wants to be an overnight success, which, okay.
Oh, that sounds great. That sounds great.
I mean, but see, here's the thing. You've put in a lot of hustle, so you would actually know how to handle the success. And one of the things that I think people that don't hustle don't know how to handle success well.
Bro, look at this hair. I can't even handle my hair right now.
No,
right.
but
I completely agree. Like,
I mean,
Paul Verzion, who I've been arguably one of his biggest fans, if not the biggest fan of his for 7 years. After I saw him do an opening bit for Bill Burr in Indiana.
And I've been another one of my favorite comedians.
Fan. Bill Burr, dude, I actually go to Netflix.
Dude is uncancelable.
Cancel Bill Burr. I dare you. You've seen riots? I think not. Cancel the Monday Morning Podcast. Let me know how that works out for you.
One of my favorite lines in television, and this says a lot about me, but are you familiar with the TV show Rick and Morty?
What's that, Morty?
My favorite line is your boos mean nothing to me because I've seen what makes you cheer.
Your boos mean nothing to me because I've seen what makes you cheer.
Yeah. And I think right, that's like Bill Burr's life motto.
Okay, so I saw the Walk Your Way Out. Anyway, whichever Netflix.
I'm not familiar with the names of his shows, but I've seen like all of them.
Well, one of them's on Netflix, like this latest one on Netflix, and you can see me in it. I didn't get the memo not to wear a white shirt in the front row. Like I'd saved up 2 or 3 years to be able to go to buy front seat tickets to Bill Burr, and just so happens he was in Nashville for a taping, and I was like, "Oh, bro, oh man, are you kidding me? Me and Bill Burr, like right there, doing a live taping." Shoot me as soon as
I will check that out.
Just shoot me in the head. Like it's not getting
right. It's like
this is it.
Forget about pursuit of happiness. Happiness is accomplished.
This is here, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Burr is telling jokes and it's being recorded. Well, come to find out, during an hour and a half taping of drinking, sitting in the front row with the only white shirt on, visible.
Oh,
bro, I had to pee so bad. It was,
and you can't get up,
bro. I knew. I mean, I was already on his radar because I didn't get the memo not to wear a bright shirt.
Right.
And I knew if I got up, I was gonna be that person you got onto me for. And then even funnier than that, I'm from Tennessee. I lived in Tennessee at the time. My cousin was with me, and she's a young blonde, sitting right next to me. And so people were
Right.
like, "Oh my gosh, she's your girlfriend." And I'm like, "That's my
The, the jokes would not have stopped. Like he would have
like."
murdered you alive.
So I was nervous. I needed
It
to
would have been
pee.
funny,
Have the time of my
but
life.
good.
So anyway,
Good.
Paul Verzi
No, I mean
was
it's
a guest on the podcast
yeah.
a few weeks ago, talking about the rise to the occasion.
Oh,
I totally fumbled my way through the conversation. Some people said I did really well. To me, there was so much I wanted to get out because I was so excited to have this person I've been listening to for 7 years on his podcast.
mhm.
Imagine talking back to somebody for 7 years you've been listening to,
Right.
and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah. No.
I can't wait! I can't wait to
Don't
talk."
mess it up. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up.
He's listening. Oh no, he's actually listening to me. Like, oh, what am I gonna say now? Oh no.
Yeah.
And twice I think I said I
No.
totally forgot what I was gonna tell you, Paul, and just like completely
Yeah.
fumbled.
No. I mean,
You're right. The rest of the occasion.
there's a prevalence of
Serious.
yeah. There's a prevalence of what I would say are good teachers out there. I haven't heard much of the guests you mentioned's work, but he sounds like somebody that knows what he's talking about and teaches it well. And the issue is, and this is why I think the most important thing people can do is have conversations with the person standing next to them, because like today I was there's personal things going on. I was at a hospital today, and I was sitting in a waiting room, and the lady's sitting next to me. I just said, "So, who are you here for?" And we just started having a conversation. Right? Turned out to be a wonderful lady. We talked about a lot of things politically. We talked about